Some people much prefer, you know, just the breath or focusing on a mantra. So, you know, it's nice that we can choose different tools each week, and then when you do your own practice, you can choose stuff that, you know, works better for you. But hopefully you get something out of this practice. I did it earlier, and that definitely helped me. You'll understand when we go through it. So yeah, let's get started anyway. So as always, find a comfortable seat, nice and stable, with the lower part of the body. If you can, cross-legged, or sit on a chair where you're not leaning too much on the back, so you're sitting up nice and tall, you've got a long spine. Try and keep the chin parallel with the floor, because often we have a tendency as we practice just to start like leaning. So try and keep that integrity in the body, shoulders down the back. Just close the eyes. And I think I talked about this, it might have been in meditation practice. You know, we either are more emotional beings or more intellectual beings. So maybe just notice where your drishti is the name we give for gaze, and your gaze is in meditation, your internal gaze. Maybe your gaze rests more with the heart center, maybe you're more of an emotional being, or maybe it's rests more with the third eye. So within the practice, you kind of want to fix the gaze internally, not like really intensely, but have that kind of focus either to the third eye or to the heart center. And then just close the eyes. And allow the palms to rest wherever feels good for you. And then just take some time here just to tune into the breath. So imagine that breath traveling right down into the tailbone, rooting right down into the floor. And then with each out breath, you're just letting go of any tension from the morning so far, the week, anything that you're holding onto, that you're gripping onto. Just imagine that you're just releasing it all with that out breath. And just do some more rounds like that. So you're just starting to, you know, increase that concentration, that focus. A lovely big expansive breath on the inhale, filling up the body, calming the nervous system as you exhale and let it go. Let's just do 2 more rounds like that. Just do it with your, you know, your own rhythm, your own style. You might even want to just open the mouth and just let the breath sigh out on the exhale. All right, and then just start to release any control of the breath now. So you're just allowing that natural ebb and flow of breath. You're not altering it, you're not changing it. You're just allowing the breath to come in and out through the nose. Just a real gentle wave of breath. So just make sure you're in a position of stability. You know, maybe pay attention just for a little while here. Just pay attention to the contact of your body on the floor or the chair or the ground. To really sense into the body, the feet, the legs, the hips, all that lower part of the body, how it's touching the floor. And then make sure that the upper part of the body, where possible, is balanced, you know, equally over the hips. So you're not leaning far forwards to the sides, you're just nicely balanced over the hips. And then the shoulders draw down the back. They're really comfortable, but they're in an alert posture. So you're kind of stable, active, but also relaxed. So you're not gripping, you're just nice and, you know, awake in the body, but also relaxed. So just allow the arms to hang by their own weight, like heavy curtains. And you can have the palms, they can rest down onto your legs. So if you feel I always say if you want to feel more grounded, have the palms facing down. If you want to feel more receptive and you need more energy, you can have the palms facing up. I'd say if you have the palms facing up, because there's not really contact with anything, I would take a mudra, take the first finger and thumb together, just to create that kind of energy lock. Soften the jaw here. And when you're ready, if the eyes aren't closed already, just bringing the eyes to a close. And the awareness now to the breath. So the actual physical sensations, feeling each breath as it comes in and as it goes out. Letting the breath be just as it is, without trying to change or regulate it in any way. Just allow it to float easily and naturally, with its own rhythm, with its own pace. Know that you are breathing perfectly well right now. And there's nothing for you to do. Just watch that breath. Allow the body to be still. And sit there with a sense of dignity, a sense of being complete, whole. In this very moment, you're whole, and your posture reflects that sense of wholeness. You're just tuning into that sense of being complete, that sense of being whole in this very moment. And as you sit here, let an image form in your mind's eye of the most magnificent, that word, or beautiful mountain you know or have ever seen or can imagine. So you're just going to bring in to your mind's eye the most magnificent, beautiful mountain that you can imagine. Let it gradually come into greater focus. And even if you can't quite grasp the visual image just yet, just allow that sense of this mountain, feeling its overall shape, its lofty peak or peaks high into the sky, the large base rooted into the bedrock, its steep or maybe gently sloping sides. Just notice how massive it is, how solid, how unmoving, how beautiful, whether from afar or up close. So just taking a moment just to sense into that mountain. Perhaps the mountain has snow blanketing its tops, maybe trees down to the base or rugged granite sides. There may be streams, waterfalls, There may be one peak or a series of peaks with meadows and high lakes. So observing it, noting its qualities. When you feel ready, seeing if you can bring the mountain into your own body, sitting here, so that your body and the mountain in your mind's eye become one. So that you sit here, you share in the massiveness and the stillness and the majesty of the mountain. You become the mountain. So grounded in a sitting posture, your head becomes the lofty peak, supported by the rest of the body. Your shoulders and arms, the sides of the mountain, your bum, legs, the solid base, rooted to your cushion or to your chair. Experiencing in your body a sense of uplift from deep within your pelvis and spine. With each breath, as you continue sitting, becoming a little more of a breathing mountain, alive and vital, yet unwavering in your inner stillness. Completely what you are, beyond words and thought, a centered, grounded, and moving presence. As you sit here, becoming aware of the fact that as the sun travels across the sky, the light and shadows and colours are changing virtually moment by moment in the mountain stillness. And the surface teems with life and activity, streams, melting snow, waterfalls, plants and wildlife. As the mountain sits, seeing and feeling how night follows day, day follows night, the bright warming sun followed by the cool night sky studded with stars, and then the gradual dawning of a new day. And through it all, the mountain just sits, experiencing change in each moment, constantly changing, yet always being itself. It remains still as the seasons flow into one another and as the weather changes moment by moment and day by day. Calmness abiding all change. In summer, there is no snow on the mountain except perhaps for the very peaks or in the crags shielded from direct sunlight. In the autumn, the mountain may wear a coat of brilliant fire colours. In winter, a blanket of snow and ice. In any season, it may find itself at times enshrouded in clouds or fog or pelted by freezing rain. People may come to see the mountain and comment on how beautiful it is or how it's not a good day to see the mountain, that it's too cloudy, rainy, foggy or dark. And none of this matters to the mountain, which remains at all times its essential self. Clouds may come, clouds may go, tourists may like it or not. The mountain's beauty is not changed one bit by whether people see it or not, seen or unseen, in sun or clouds, cold or warm, day or night. It just sits being itself. At times visited by violent storms, buffeted by snow and rain and winds of unthinkable magnitude. Through it all, the mountain sits, Spring comes, trees leaf out, flowers bloom in the high meadows and slopes, birds sing, streams overflow with the waters of melting snow. Through it all, the mountain continues to sit, unmoved by the weather, by what happens on its surface, by the world of appearances, remaining its essential self, through the seasons, the changing weather, the activity ebbing and flowing on its surface. In the same way, as we sit in meditation, we can learn to experience the mountain. We can embody the same central, unwavering stillness and groundedness in the face of everything that changes in our own lives, over seconds, over hours, over years. In our lives and in our meditation practice, we experience constantly the changing nature of mind and body and of the outer world. We have our own periods of light and darkness, activity and inactivity, our moments of colour and our moments of drabness. It's true that we experience storms of varying intensity and violence in the outer world and in our own minds and bodies. Buffeted by high winds, by cold and rain, we endure periods of darkness and pain, as well as the moments of joy and uplift. Even our appearance changes constantly, experiencing a weather of its own. By becoming the mountain in our meditation practice, we can link up with its strength and stability and adopt them for our own. We can use its energies to support our energy, to encounter each moment with mindfulness and equanimity and clarity. It may help us to see that our thoughts and feelings, our preoccupations, our emotional storms and crises, even the things that happen to us are very much like that, the weather on the mountain, the seasons, the changes. You know, we tend to take it all personally. But its strongest characteristic is impersonal. The weather of our own lives is not to be ignored or denied. It is to be encountered, to be experienced, to be honoured, to be felt, to be known for what it is, but to be held in awareness. And holding it in this way, in awareness, we come to know a deeper silence, a deeper stillness and wisdom. Mountains have this to teach us, and more if we can let it in. So if you find you resonate in some way with this strength and stability of the mountain in your sitting, it might be useful for you to use this in your meditation practice from time to time, just to remind you of what it means to really sit mindfully with resolve, with wakefulness, in true stillness. So in the time that remains here in our practice, just continue to sustain the mountain meditation on your own, in silence, moment by moment. And I'll bring you out of the practice when it's time. So just spend this bit of time now just to, feel yourself as the mountain, watching the seasons change, the weather change, the thoughts come and go. Just find that stillness, that resolve of the mountain. If you feel like your mind gets caught up in the thoughts, the fritties, the weather, the seasons, just bring yourself back to that feeling of stability of the mountain. Maybe sense into the legs, how the body's touching the mat. Just try to stay present, try not to get too caught up in those thoughts. Start to bring the awareness back into the space that you're in. Just back into the body. Let's just inhale, reach the arms up overhead, just stretch through the fingertips, ground down through the tailbone. And just bring the prayer down to the center of the chest. You can take the prayer to the third eye for peaceful thoughts, mouth for peaceful words, and heart for peaceful heart. Just take a namaste, bow the head. Thank you, guys. Thank you. If anyone wants to share how they found it, feel free.